Hi. What a fucking week.
Yeah, a lot of upsets this week, and not just upsets in the sense of an unpredictable outcome, but you are very upset
Yes.
about this week.
Less upset about this week than last week, at
I mean,
least.
I mean, Philly is just looking really bad. I mean, I don't want to overreact, but there's a part of me that feels like they are going from sputtering to now what feels like spiraling.
Yeah, it is. In ways, it is very reminiscent of the Eagles' 2023 season. The difference is that season, the offense was mostly pulling its weight, and the defense was the side of the ball that just completely shit itself in the final 6 or 7 weeks of the season. And now we've inverted it. The defense is pulling its weight. The number of rushing yards given up to Chicago is ugly. It was like 280. Yeah. But the defense overall played pretty well against Chicago. They were out on the field for more than 40 minutes, which is not a position you want to put your defense in. The offense just couldn't do anything. And it sucks. it's not like it's entertaining to watch, where at least the 2023 season, when we were barely winning games, they were like 35-27 games, and Jalen Hurts was out dueling Josh Allen. But now it's just the Eagles' offense sucks for 30 or 45 minutes, while the defense does everything it can to keep them competitive. And at the end of it, nobody feels good about the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
And it's been that way since the bye. They went into the bye with some momentum, beating the shit out of that New York team. And then they came out of the bye, barely beat the Packers, barely beat the Lions, got up 21 points on the Cowboys, and then went 70 minutes between the next two games without scoring a touchdown. And of course, there has been no change at offensive coordinator, because why would a 70-minute gap without a touchdown be concerning? Can you think of a reason that would be concerning? Because I can't.
Yeah, I mean, the story with the Eagles has just continued to be exactly what you said. The defense is really doing everything they can to hold other teams' offenses. And, I mean, when you see the Bears' time of possession in the last game, you would have expected them to score a lot more points, because they only put up 24, which is, respectable, but it's not as much as you would think when they had the ball for 40-plus minutes of the game. The Eagles do have probably the easiest 5-game stretch of the season.
For sure.
They've got the Chargers this week, granted in Los Angeles. They've got the Raiders the week after that.
In our final 1 o'clock game of the season, I think. Which is fucking bullshit.
Your final is week 18 against
have they announced the week 18 schedule?
According to Google, yes.
Okay.
You've got the Raiders next week, which theoretically should be an easy one. You've got the Commanders the week after that, which should be an easy one. You've got the Bills after that, which is probably the toughest.
It's the toughest remaining game.
But then you've got the Commanders again in week 18. So, I mean, the remaining schedule sets the Eagles up to build some momentum in the playoffs.
Well, it's just tough because, when the Eagles started the season and they were, 4-0 before losing to Denver, it was very easy to look at this stretch at the end of the season and go, this is pre-Joe Alt injury. Okay, the Chargers and the Bills are going to be tough, but we should finish that stretch no worse than 4-1. And looking at the talent on this team, we should still finish that stretch no worse than 4-1. Yeah. And it's a stretch we could go 5-0 in if the offense finds something. Dear God, anything. But now I'm looking at it, and we can beat the Chargers and the Raiders because their offensive lines are terrible. And our defensive line is really, really good. And we can pressure. And Justin Herbert might be hurt this week. Yeah. Fractured his hand on Sunday.
Heard surgery went well though.
Yeah,
which is a
he's
good
day to
thing.
excuse me. He's day to day. It's one of the rare times a player gets surgery in season and isn't out for multiple weeks.
Yeah.
So we can beat the Chargers regardless of whether Herbert or Lance is starting. We can beat the Raiders. They're a terrible football team. We should beat the Raiders. The Commanders, I wouldn't be stunned if we split those just because division opponents. And then at Buffalo is a tough one.
Yeah.
If the defense plays like it did against Green Bay and Detroit, there's no reason we shouldn't walk out of Buffalo with a win.
Yeah, and at Buffalo in late December,
Yeah.
and as I'm sure NFL fans know, and if you don't, one of the places you do not want to go when it gets into those late months of the season, December, January, you do not want to play in Buffalo. It is absolutely frigid, and that is when Buffalo's home field advantage really starts to heat up, or the opposite, because it gets really cold.
But if we go 4-0 leading into Week 18, that puts us at, 12-4 headed into the final week of the season? We can probably rest our starters. Unless we're fighting for the 1 seed, we can probably rest our starters in Week 18, having secured the 2 or 3 seed, and just get ready for whatever team we play in the wild card round. Because it won't be Washington. Yeah. It could be Dallas. It could be Chicago. It could be Green Bay. It could be Detroit. It could be Seattle. It could be LA. It could be San Francisco.
And we've been talking about the NFC playoff picture right now is absolutely
it's a fucking shit
insane.
Show. It could be the Panthers or the Buccaneers.
The 9-3 Chicago Bears right now are the 1 seed. And the 9-4 San Francisco 49ers are the 7th seed. The room for error in the NFC right now to make the playoffs is very small. You really cannot afford to go on a slide right now, which is unfortunately what it seems like the Eagles are doing. But I feel like the remaining schedule that they have does set them up nicely to finish out the season strong, and go into the playoffs with at least a little bit of something to be happy about.
Well, the only really tough thing with the Eagles is, and they've now done this twice this year, they've gone 4-0 and then 0-2, and then 4-0 and then 0-2. And if we go 4-0 in our next 4 games, that slots us up to lose in the wild card round.
That does.
Which I don't want that. I don't want to get bounced in the wild card round. I don't want to get bounced at all. I want to win another Super Bowl. I'm greedy. Give me another one. But it's just tough. The division standings won't be set until late in the season, especially in the NFC South and the NFC West and the AFC South. Now, the NFC West is a little less surprising. The Rams hadn't created a ton of separation for themselves. Never at any point this season did either one of us consider it the Rams' division to lose as far as the amount of wins they had and their opponents had.
Well, I mean, the Rams also haven't been the leader for
That's
the entirety of the season. I mean, the Rams only got the division title when they beat Seattle
a couple weeks
3
ago.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the NFC West, I mean, we knew it was going to be a competitive division, at least between, I think a lot of people expected 2 of the 3 of Seattle, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. I don't think anyone expected it to be all 3 competing for it. And San Francisco still has no right to be competing for it, but they are. They're winning football games, which just speaks to how great of a coach Kyle Shanahan is. And under the likely circumstance that they get double-digit win seasons, I think that Kyle Shanahan could have a Coach of the Year award coming his way because, I mean, the games and the quality football that he's put together despite having so many injuries is truly, truly something to marvel at.
Yeah, worth mentioning, no one has clinched a playoff spot yet.
No.
The Patriots are the closest with a greater than 99% chance to make the playoffs. But nobody has clinched yet. Which is weird entering, week 14 in the NFL? there's only 4 weeks left after this week, and nobody has clinched a playoff spot yet. The 1 seed in the NFC currently has worse odds to make the playoffs than the 6th seed. The Bears have a currently 72% chance to make the playoffs, and the Packers have an 89% chance. They play each other twice in the final 5 games of the season. That being said, the AFC South is a far more concerning division given its current state. The Colts are no longer the division leader in the AFC South. And it wasn't long ago that we considered it their division to lose.
No. I mean, they started the season, 8-1?
Yeah.
Then they go on a 3-game slide, and Jacksonville just keeps winning, ascending from 5-4 to 8-4, and now they're now both Indianapolis and Jacksonville are tied at 8-4. They play this week, and then the Texans are sitting at 7-5. I mean, because of the Colts slide and because of the Jaguars and the Texans picking it back up, this division really is anyone's right now. And I don't think anyone anticipated, at least I didn't anticipate, it being this competitive. But I like to see it. I'm really excited to see who's going to come out on top. I have no doubt that at least one of them is going to be a wild card team.
Yeah.
And at the same time as fighting for the division title, you're fighting with a division opponent over a wild card spot. And that is intense pressure football, which I think is something that we all love to see.
Absolutely. And while we're talking about the playoff picture, 5 teams have been eliminated, 3 from the NFC, 2 from the AFC. The Cardinals have not only been eliminated from the playoffs, they have clinched 4th place in their division. The New Orleans Saints are out of the playoffs. The New York Giants, of course, were the first team eliminated. The Tennessee Titans are out, and the Vegas Raiders are out.
I don't think any of those are a necessary surprise to anyone.
No, but I think some of the teams that are considered on the bubble, as in they have a mathematical chance to make the playoffs, can be surprising to people, including the Browns, the Jets, the Bengals, and the Commanders, and the Falcons, actually. And the Dolphins? These are teams that have mathematically a less than 1% chance to make the playoffs as it stands. Actually, the Bengals have a 3% chance because the AFC North is such a shit show.
I mean, the Dolphins make sense to me. I mean, they've already got 7 losses on the season, and in a conference where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams in wild card positions that currently have 6 or more wins, that makes sense. That being at a 5-7 sits them at those odds, especially when they've just looked not great this season.
Yeah, and then of course, the teams that are quote unquote actually in the hunt, there are 3 teams in each conference that are like really in the hunt. The Houston Texans, we talked about it. They have made an incredible turnaround of their season. The Detroit Lions are on the flip side of that. They came in as favorites to win the NFC this year, if not Philadelphia, and are out of the playoff picture with less than a 50% chance to make it. Pittsburgh is on the bubble. Only one AFC North team is going to get in. All 4 of them are technically still in contention. Only one of them is going to get it.
Yeah.
None of them are good enough to be. None of them are good enough to deserve to be wild card teams. The results of Ravens Steelers is going to send shockwaves throughout the NFL. And from a team that started hot and ended like piss, to a team that started like piss and is now getting hot. The Dallas Cowboys are the 9 seed currently in the NFC, out of the playoff picture, only a 21% chance to make it. One more loss probably kills their season.
I mean, one more loss probably kills the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Vikings, the Bengals. I mean, when there's this many teams that are fighting for spots, every week really does matter. And this is something I love about this time of year, is that it already starts to feel like the playoffs with a lot of these games, because a lot of these ones, like Steelers Ravens this week, like Colts Jaguars this week, feel like must wins.
Even Lions Cowboys, Packers Bears, Eagles Chargers is a must-win game for both of those clubs. We are getting the top. Actually, in general, the NFL this year is so good that we are getting 4 extra weeks of playoff games, and it's incredible. It's an awesome, awesome feeling as NFL fans. And I don't remember the last time it really, truly felt like this.
I mean, it's felt like it for me the last couple seasons because of the 3-6 starts that my team has been subject to in 2023 and 2024. I will say I'm very glad to not be in that must win every week position. It feels significantly safer when you're one of the ones at the top. But yeah, this is a really, really exciting season because there are so many teams that are fighting every single week for a spot, and it's just really competitive right now, and I'm really, really excited to see how everything shakes out. And I can guarantee you that I will be disappointed about a team or two that misses the playoffs. Shit. Why not extend the playoff bracket this season to 16?
I mean, the Vanderbilt quarterback has petitioned the president to sign an executive order to extend that playoff bracket. I feel like if Houston, Detroit, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Carolina petitioned to extend it to 10-team playoffs this year, it would be insane. The Super Bowl would have to get pushed back a week.
The Super Bowl would be in March.
But it would be wildly entertaining because with the exception of maybe the Steelers, any of these teams really feels like they could beat anyone else at any time. Yeah. And some of that is some of the top teams are sliding. The Bucs have been sliding. The Eagles have been sliding. The Lions have been sliding.
Colts have been sliding.
The Colts have been sliding.
Jags have been rising. Texans have been rising. The Ravens kind of started to rise over the last 5 weeks. The Bengals may now be on the rise and come in as a sneak contender.
With all due respect to Cincinnati.
Oh no,
not a fucking chance.
Probably not.
You have to go 5-0, and even then you're banking on the Chiefs to lose 2 more, the Steelers to lose 2 more, the Texans to lose 3 more, the Bills
to lose. But at the same time, the Bengals could be that team. They may not make it, but they may keep a couple teams out of it.
Oh yeah, we had this conversation before we knew Joe Burrow was going to return so soon. When he was still projected to come back around Christmas, we had the conversation over text of the Bengals could just win out, and Bengals fans will never shut the fuck up about how this could have been their year if he didn't get hurt. I have news for you. It wouldn't have been. But it's very nice that you keep believing that fairy tale that you all are telling yourselves.
Also, to Bengals fans, spending 40% of your salary cap on 3 players is generally not a winning formula.
Especially when one of them has already proven to be injury prone, and all of a sudden you have $55 million on the injury table for most of the year.
The Rams need a quarterback. Joe Burrow's injury prone. That sounds like a problem to me, Cincy. Maybe you should send him our way.
No, you know where they should send him? They should send him to the Jets. Because, that MetLife turf is excellent for players.
His career's over. If he goes to MetLife, his career's over.
It should be a very, very interesting end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Really excited for it. But that will do it for our headlines, and on to our weekly awards from last week across the NFL. This week we could not find any notable UNC performances. scratch that. I will say it live. I will say Nick Folk,
Oh yeah,
Jets kicker, kicking the game winner in the upset
over the
and
Falcons.
over
Yeah,
the Falcons.
that was a
And
shit kick though.
it was not a good. It
It
was not
was
a
a
good kick.
shit
But
kick.
the big thing is that him and Aaron Glenn were teammates
Yes.
at one point. The head coach of the New York Jets and the current kicker for the New York Jets were teammates in 2007 on the Cowboys. And I think that's really, really cool when something like that happens. But Nick Folk, great job on the game winner. You are 41.
And only missed your first field goal of the season this week.
Yeah.
And made up for it by kicking the game winner. No big man of the week. Nobody really stood out to us this week. Tristan Wirfs caught a touchdown pass. That's what I was thinking of.
Did he really?
Yeah.
It's me being really bad at my job. I didn't even know about
Yeah,
that.
so I'm also going to add a big man live. Tristan Wirfs, shout out. Played tight end for a little bit.
A little bit of J.J. Watt in there.
A little bit of J.J. Watt energy. And got a receiving touchdown off of it. Our NFC players of the week, we disagreed on this. And this feels a little bit like when we disagreed on the coach of the week. Or maybe it was I picked Matt Stafford last week and you picked someone else. Because I have Bryce Young, 15 to 20, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, more than 10 yards an attempt, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 75% completion rating. Very, very good. And you picked an Eagle.
I did pick an Eagle. It was a great game by Bryce Young. Very efficient. I just thought that there was somebody that stood out a little bit more to me this week, and that was A.J. Brown. I'm not one to often credit players that I would deem complainers, which it feels like A.J. Brown kind of has been teetering on that this season. But A.J. Brown played an absolute great game last week, despite the loss. He had 10 catches for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. So great game. Congratulations to A.J. Brown.
Yeah, let's stack a little bit more of that with some wins, please and thank you. I don't want to have to feel like it's either AJ Brown gets the ball or we win. Our AFC player of the week was unanimous. It was a running back, an AFC running back who carried the ball 22 times for 134 yards and a touchdown. He plays in the Southern region, but the Eastern Division. It was Devon Achane. Jonathan Taylor has been sliding
a little bit, and then the hopes for the MVP, the hopes for the record have faded.
Yeah,
I would say. But I mean, despite that, Jonathan Taylor's still playing good games. He's still putting together good football. But Devon Achane had a great game this week, and we recognize him for that.
We disagreed on coach of the week as well. My coach of the week was Aaron Glenn, head coach of the New York Jets. I might have called that upset, but it still feels good to get that right. And for once, it wasn't the most Jets thing ever. It was just a good quality win. Tyrod Taylor played serviceably. The defense played exceptionally well under Glenn's leadership. Nick Folk, obviously, the hero with that late kick. But you had a different thought on who the coach of the week should be.
I do, and a part of the reason why I didn't give Bryce Young the NFC Player of the Week award is because, to me, the Panthers' win over the Rams was very much so more a coaching win to me, is what it felt like. And I've got Dave Canales as my coach of the week for this week. And a couple of reasons for that. The Rams' defense has been great this year. They've held all but, I think they've held half the teams they played against to 10 or less points.
Oh, wow.
And that is really impressive. And Dave Canales went out and put a offensive showcase that absolutely ripped that defense apart. And as much as I didn't enjoy watching it, I do have to give credit to Dave Canales for putting together that scheme and getting the win, and then also being able to hold back the Rams offense to a degree. I mean, Dave Canales, absolutely great scheme, absolutely great game plan, and congratulations on getting the win and advancing to 7-6.
Our chart of the week winner was also unanimous, and someone who has done a lot for his MVP campaign. Drake May, 24 of 31, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. This is a beautiful chart.
It is.
I want to say, let me just resize this image. Yeah, a 36-yard a 36-yard air yard pass.
36 air yard touchdown.
Yes, and I don't actually know how far that one went, but my God, was it a gorgeous throw live. The Patriots just kind of generally manhandled the Giants. We both picked the Giants in an upset. We were very, very wrong about that, which is an excellent segue into our weekly records. Together on the games that we agreed on, we were 4-4. There were 16 games last week. We were 4-4 on the games that we agreed on. On the games we disagreed on, which there were also 8 of, I went 5-3. You went 3-5. This was one of our more middle of the road weeks. Overall, I went 9-7, and you went 7-9, which brings our yearly records. I am 87-56. 31 games north of 500. You are 81-62. 19 games north of 500. Still with 80 correct predicted wins.
It's giving Steelers. It reminds me of the Steelers. My pick'em performances this week, this season so far, reminds me a little bit of the Steelers.
Will you be able to cross and stay over the plus 20 threshold by the end of this season? We will find out. Will I be able to get up to plus 35, which would be insane? Sometimes we know what we're talking about.
Sometimes.
Very, very occasionally.
We agree on a lot of games this week, so I'm hoping for a good record for us.
That would be really, really nice. This week feels a lot more predictable than last week.
Yeah.
It of course opens with Cowboys-Lions, which we disagree on. Cowboys at Lions. Both of those teams a full week of rest coming off of Thanksgiving. But you will have to find out how we do in the pick'ems for this week in the main podcast. We are Any Given Sunday signing off for the Headlines edition, and we will see you next week.